What is going on, guys? And in this video we will be taking a look at the Bugatti Divo versus the Bugatti Centodieci. Now, first glance, top speed and power wise, these cars are very similar. I believe they're pretty much going to have around the same top speeds there from testing them, but I was driving the Centodieci a lot when it released. I was actually driving it over the Divo, and then I started going back to the Divo again because I really enjoyed how that car actually drove. And it's just amazing, honestly. The Divo is just so good in every aspect. But I know many people are wondering how it compares to this Bugatti as well, because both these cars are purchasable in the HQ. If you are wondering, by the way, I am running the Nitro Chemist set here, Extra Pump and Pure on both vehicles. I will also be running similar settings on both cars as well here. The main reason for that is because I want to see how they actually perform, and for some reason these settings seem to work on a lot of the vehicles here. So here you guys will see they're very, very similar and all that. This car does have the lovely fame magnet set, do not mind that. I'll be putting the actual Nitro Chemist on both cars. Anyway, I'm going to be doing a race with both vehicles here, most likely Latrell's Part 2, to test them out against each other there. I'm also going to be doing a top speed run on both vehicles in the salt flats there, and then I'll probably be running a skill with both vehicles, because for some weird reason the hypercars are used heavily on skills now. They actually always have been. Even on the off-road ones, they seem to be very, very viable, and while having different choices and all that could be a very, very good thing. So we all know how competitive the summits normally are in this game, and how a lot of the hypercars sometimes are good and sometimes they aren't. We can all agree that some of the Bugattis, like the Chiron here, I don't really drive this car that often, but like that one compared to the Divo, I believe the Divo and the Centodieci are just so much better. Anyway, let's go jump into the top speed on both vehicles right now. So immediately accelerating here, let's see what these cars will do. Now, we all know most of the Bugattis, and well, a lot of the hypercars for that matter, do hit 280. The Bugatti seem to be a little better though in aspects because they can both do like almost 300. So let's see what the regular Divo will do. I'm going to start using my nitrous here now to see if I can get my speed up a little bit more. Sometimes I notice the hypercars do struggle a little bit, and it seems like the Bugattis don't. I think that's why so many people actually use these. The Divo is literally just a monster, and it can be used pretty much on anything. So let's do this right now. Full speed run on the Bugatti Divo is going to hit an insane 318 miles an hour. Wow. We all know why these Bugattis are picked, and Nitro Chemist obviously on this car is ridiculous. So if you guys are wondering in the summits why so many people run in the Divo, this car is incredible. Cannot wait to see how it does in the race versus the Centodieci. So if any of you guys were wondering, the main difference with the Bugatti Centodieci is basically its looks. The car basically sounds just like the Divo and, well, accelerates similar. So let's go do this now. I really do like how this car looks. Actually, I was kind of mixed on it when I first saw it when it released, but it is actually very, very nice, and I'm sure many people probably picked the Divo over it. But how are they top speed wise? Let's see right now. So obviously acceleration, as you guys will see, is very, very similar, mainly because they are basically the same exact car, just different bodies. So here, let's shift it into 7th now, hit some more Nitro Chemist here. So the car doesn't seem like it's having any issues, stuff like that. So let's see what we can do with it. I believe it'll pretty much do around the same speed as the Divo there. So right there, it is actually maxing out and hitting the rev limiter at 313 there, 312-ish. So it's going to be about 6 to 7 miles an hour, around that, slower than the other Bugatti there, which really doesn't matter, if being honest. If you guys are doing hyper races, it's going to be kind of hard to hit 318 miles an hour on a lot of the roads anyway, because I noticed the cars fluctuate differently on some of the roads in this game. Anyway, let's go jump into the race now, and let's see how these cars perform against each other. So immediately jumping into the race right here, I figured this would be a great way to test the car out a little bit. And if you guys are wondering, this is on Ace, so I know a lot of people were wondering if I do test the cars on Ace. And the reason I do that is because this is the best way to farm the parts and all that. So another thing I just thought about as well, if you all are wondering, I'm thinking about doing a Divo Magma versus the Emerald Storm Edition video. Haven't really seen that anywhere too much, and those cars definitely deserve some love. So obviously the Divo here is the king of this class, in my opinion anyway. I'm sure many people agree. It's just so incredibly fast with Nitro Chemist, and it handles very, very good. Most of the summits I've been doing with it, most of the races, this car is normally up there on top pretty high, besides the other, summit Bugattis, which I haven't really tested too much against it. But I do believe the Divo is better overall. And the main thing is you can also actually get this vehicle. The other Bugattis aren't actually manageable to grab at the moment. I do not think they will be adding them back, but unless they have like a returning summit vehicle, which could happen, like the TDF that is coming up as well. So maybe that is a possibility. Overall, what makes the Divo so good? Well, as I said before, the speed on this car is ridiculous. Can actually achieve 300 miles an hour pretty easily with Nitro Chemist. Anyone else, I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I do not actually do the hyper races with the Chemist set. I normally do them with the Fame Magnet set, at least when I'm grinding money and parts and all that. It seems like a lot better that way, and you're getting a lot more followers. Nitro Chemist is more for like summits and stuff when you're like competing, but it is definitely a great way to test the vehicle out overall. So this car just gets up to speed so quickly. If anybody has been testing the Bugattis, we all know these have basically been owning the hyperclass since release. A lot of the other cars I noticed just can't really compete. The Performante was very, very good back in the day, and I think that car was insanely good when it came out in the Summit. But unfortunately, it was nerfed, which was kind of sad to see. But it was also something I think needed to be done. That car was achieving 300 miles an hour way too easily. Handling was a little ridiculous on it too, so they kind of nerfed it a bit, and now it's definitely not as good, and I really don't see that car anywhere. So I figured a lot of people are going to be driving the Bugattis now. And I think that's for good measure because, well, can't really go wrong if you guys are looking for like one car, let's say, in the hyperclass. Yes, these cars are insanely expensive, but at least you have a car that can do pretty much all of it. You can go do some hyper races and grind and almost fly off that. Luckily, that guardrail was there. So besides whatever that just was, I can't drive sometimes, but luckily the Bugatti is a great vehicle to save yourself on, at least what I noticed anyway. The speed of this car will definitely help tremendously, and the handling of this vehicle is just incredible on how it can just eat turns and it doesn't struggle. A lot of the hypercars do seem very jittery and have issues sometimes with turning, and sometimes they don't even grip that much, and that is something I think a lot of people, is the reason why everyone uses this car for that matter. It just doesn't have that issue, and when it comes to summits and you're trying to get a good score in these hyper races, because we know how insanely competitive this class is, it's good to have a vehicle that can pretty much do it all. So many people were wondering, and what is the best hypercar? And obviously I did pick the Divo, but the Centodieci, when that car released, I was immediately using it a lot, and I actually really digged it. I wondered how it did against the Divo, and surely enough, it's actually pretty dang good. We'll be testing that car here in a second in this race as well. Unfortunately, I didn't do that good of driving in that one area, but nonetheless, this car also has wonderful brakes as well, and it doesn't struggle with hitting its brakes or anything like that. Some cars also don't brake at all. When you hit the L2 button, they literally don't even stop, which is an issue. Anyway, here is the Centodieci right now. So now jumping into this race with the Centodieci. So the number one thing anybody will be noticing about these cars, like most people are like, what's the difference in these Bugattis? Like, is there anything actually different about the driving? And well, to be honest, they pretty much handle almost exactly the same. I honestly have not seen much of a difference with them. Overall handling wise, they seem very, very similar. Obviously sounds the same because, well, it's the exact same car basically with different bodies. The number one thing people might not like about this car is its looks. We can all agree that the looks are interesting on it. Handling wise though, I have completed a lot of the races and summits and stuff with this Bugatti and the Divo, and they both did very, very good similarly, so I would say they're not really that much different overall. Maybe get this car over that one if you're looking for something different. You don't want to buy the Divo because everyone's using it, or want to get something different overall just because of the looks of this Bugatti compared to the Divo. And this is a great option for that. Overall, the speed on both these cars are amazing. Nitro Chemist affects them very well. They get way up to speed easily. I'm sure many people are wondering on how the other hypercars are compared to the Bugattis. And well, there's a reason why all the Bugattis are in all the leaderboards except the Regera for skills. Mainly because a lot of the hypercars are just honestly terrible. Number one thing I was noticing about a lot of them is they can't get up to speed good, and like the F1 for example, can hit like 260 to 265, and hitting nitrous it barely can hit 275 to 280, at least what I've been noticing with it. A lot of the hypercars are like that, unfortunately, and you really can't race those if you're having that kind of speed. And a lot of hyper races, if you are doing something with the Summit, you're going to need to get up to speed pretty quick. Like for example, I just hit almost 280 right there. A lot of hypercars would struggle to get to 250 in that area, which is unfortunate, but the Bugattis luckily are just built different, and they're honestly just incredible. So if you guys are in the market for one of these cars, go and purchase a Bugatti. Obviously, $2 million will take some time to get though. Overall, if there's any main differences I have noticed with these cars, to be honest, I don't really think there's much different about the Divo compared to this one. The handling overall, like I said, seems very similar to each of them. Acceleration wise is the same. Obviously, gearing's the same. They're very, very similar overall. Personally, I actually like driving both. I'm not even gonna lie. I do switch off vehicles from time to time in summits. You guys will notice that with like skills. I'll use the Divo, then I'll use this car, and I pretty much get around the same time with both of them. So I'd say overall, they're pretty dang similar. If I had to pick my favorite from just doing races and all that, I'm probably gonna have to pick the Divo. I just really like how that car drives and how it performs and all that. But the Centodieci is right behind it. And if you guys are interested in these cars overall, like which one should I get, I don't know. To be honest, I would test drive them both, maybe figure out which of you guys like the looks of either one. Obviously, the Divo looks really amazing. This car's got to have I guess you got to have a liking to the looks of it in order to like it all that much. That's pretty much it with that. And then overall, when it comes to skills, I'll be doing that next as well. I'm going to probably end up doing the skill that's in the current Summit, because that one was definitely a fun time there. And mainly because it goes off-road, and both the cars can pretty much do similar engagements there in racing. I feel like it's a great way to test them out, because if you're buying one of these cars for races, why not have a hypercar that can also do skills? And both of these Bugattis can definitely do that. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much this race now. I'm going to jump right into the skills with both Bugattis. It is definitely pretty fun to me how a lot of these Bugattis are, well, used in these escapes. And, well, if you all are wondering, the Regera is probably used more often. That is definitely a fact there. Probably for good reason, though, because that car is pretty amazing. But the Bugattis, nonetheless, seem to do a wonderful job on these as well. I've been running the Divo and stuff on a lot of these escapes, and they pretty much do a great job. Obviously, I think the Regera might do a little better in some ways and some places, but the Bugattis are definitely great and can be used overall for these. Mainly because the Divo is, well, probably one of the best hypercars in the game overall, if not the best for, like, pretty much being able to do all tasks and all that. And I'd say the Centodieci is pretty dang similar to it as well. Both cars have very similar handling and pretty much similar speed in every way and all that. So I feel like these cars definitely deserve some love, and many people probably be wondering, like I said, which one is better. And, well, to be honest, I'd say they're pretty dang similar. So for me to pick which is best, I'm going to have to say both on this one. Both cars are a great choice. They both do great. Like, for example, this skill right now, pretty much just taking off on the highway right now with this car and pretty much flying away. No issues at all, not struggling at all, too much for that matter. And I'm pretty much gone. And right here on the highway, for example, let's hit the top speed of that Divo there. Going to do a lovely 312. Like I said, the cars do fluctuate in some areas of the map where you guys are on, so there's a good chance that you might not be able to actually do like the 300 miles an hour there in some areas. I've been noticing that a lot on the highways, testing these cars out. It's definitely something I highly recommend looking at. Anyway, I could keep going on this escape here with this Bugatti, but I'm going to stop right here and then switch to the Centodieci to show you that that car can also do this as well. So both cars can do escapes, and they can also race very well. These cars are amazing. With the Centodieci here now, the funny thing is, like I said, both these cars are pretty dang similar. It actually makes me laugh how they can both complete a lot of these summits with no issues. You really think a lot of the Bugattis would be a little different. But then again, pretty much they are, well, it's the same for that matter. Like I said, the only reason one I don't really like using is the lovely Chiron. I don't know why, but for some reason I just don't like that car. I don't like how that car drives. I think the Divo is so much better. And the Centodieci, obviously this car is fairly new in this game. The Divo's been out pretty much since the game has come out, and that car obviously has been king for a long time. Having new cars released like this is something I really enjoy, though. Like, for example, I hit that tree there and messed up, and I'm still easily able to get a far score on this skill here, so this car can definitely complete this as well. Obviously, crashing like I am right now is not a great way to be testing the car out, but it goes to show that even the speed of these vehicles with screwing up can still get you a great score in these skills and even races and all that, which is awesome. Handling wise, right now you guys will see this car is biting these turns with no issues. Fly around this turn here, full speed. 260 miles an hour is pretty amazing there. Let's hit nitrous, and I'll see what I'll be able to get to on this road here. Pretty crazy to me how a lot of the cars actually don't do the same speeds like that on certain roads, but it does make sense for the most part, I guess. So right here, obviously 307 there again with this car. So this car pretty much did the same speed there, and I'm going to get literally basically the exact same distance with this car as well. So the Bugattis are insanely similar, guys. Almost stopping at the same place. They're hitting my brakes. I'm actually going to turn around to be able to hit that circle faster. Regardless, guys, like I said, which is best, the Bugatti Centodieci versus the Bugatti Divo? Personally, I'm going to have to say both. Both cars are wonderful. You can't go wrong with either one. So if you bought one and was wondering if the other one is better, I have to say both cars are great in their own way, and they're very fun to drive. So either way, you cannot go wrong with either one of these car purchases. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below.